What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Farzy Show. My name is Mark Farzetta, and this show is brought to you by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Just lovely to have you along for the ride. Appreciate you joining the show today. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to minicamp yesterday. Quinyon Mitchell, making news, baby. Making news. Quinyon Mitchell runs with the ones, although limited, but ran with the ones yesterday. There was a bunch of guys they were mixing in to run with the ones yesterday at practice, especially when it came to the cornerback position. A lot of guys seeing a lot of different spaces, a lot of different spots. Not the best day for Jalen Hurts, unfortunately, so let's all freak out about that now. But yeah, a lot going on there yesterday. But what really grabbed my attention was the A.J. Brown story that he told about Quinyon Mitchell. Now, just picture this. Picture this. You got somebody new in the workplace. Oh, man, the boss is just crazy about him. First-round pick type of crazy about him, right? He comes into town. He's walking around, doesn't really talk to you much, doesn't really talk to anybody much, just is not a talker. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he starts trash-talking the job that you're doing. Huh? What? You speak? No way. And when you do speak, you offer such disrespect? How dare you, sir? Well, A.J. Brown told a great story yesterday about how that's exactly what happened with Quinyon Mitchell. New to town, the rookie, 22nd overall pick, had some not even constructive criticism, just trash talk when it came to A.J. Brown's route running ability. And surprisingly, it went over well. We'll let you hear A.J. Brown tell the story as he told it yesterday on at the podium there at the NovaCare Complex. Also, a couple of great things. I loved A.J. Brown's take on putting last year, not really putting last year behind him, not burying last year, but the way he spoke about it is a way that I think I wish a lot of people spoke about it, which was not burying it, not putting it behind you, but putting it on the shelf. Like a shelf in the house that's not, prominent, but it's on the shelf. Like you walk by it every once in a while and you go, oh yeah, I remember you, that kind of thing. And that's how he's looking at the way last year ended. I found it very interesting. He also talked about a lot of great things. Didn't really offer much on Kellen Moore. Said he would agree with Devontae Smith's take on what Kellen Moore is bringing to the table, but would not go into details at all. Was legitimately asked the question. So would you agree with Devontae's assessment that there's a little bit more motion, that you guys have a little bit more freedom, you're allowed to do a little bit more, a few more things, and all that stuff as a wide receiver? Then A.J. Brown, his direct quote is, yeah. And he left it at that. Okay. But I like that he agreed. Brandon Graham addressed the media yesterday. Whole slew of Eagles. Jordan Mailata talked about life after Jason Kelce, which will be a repeating theme as we hear from more and more of these guys. Keely Ringo supposedly had another great practice yesterday as he was lined up again with the ones. Like I said, a lot of corners were, though, yesterday, but Keely Ringo have been getting the predominant, the majority of those starts throughout OTAs and now minicamp through the 1 day of minicamp, and it kind of echoed again more so yesterday, but spread the love around that position a little bit more. And Devin White might have the most significant, like it's fun to talk about Quinyon Mitchell and what he had to say about A.J. Brown, or to A.J. Brown, but Devin White made me sit up in my chair and go, I'm sorry, what? Hold on. Rewind, play again. What did he say? Vic Fangio blitzing? What? Get out of here. Blitzing? What? No way. Devin White said two things. He was asked a question about his role in Philadelphia versus his role in Tampa Bay. And he said, it's basically the same thing. And, we just got to do a little bit. We're going to do play calling and, the communication. And, we're putting in blitzes right now. And I was like, hold on, what? How many had? Blitzing? You get blitz? Then he also wanted to talk about how if you're good at something, Vic Fangio is going to use you. And that's what Devin White did a lot of in Tampa, was go after the quarterback. Very interesting. Let's hear from A.J. Brown. We'll let you hear from Devin White as the show goes on today. The Phillies. Oh, I'm going to miss them so much. I'm going to miss the Phillies so much. I know you're going to miss the Phillies too. Philadelphia Phillies just swept the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, what did I put on the table for us yesterday? In case you missed it. Philadelphia Phillies just won 5 out of 6 games against 2 teams who are a combined 16-4 before coming into Citizens Bank Park in their last 10 games combined. Both teams won 8 games of their last 10. The Brewers, and then before that, the St. Louis Cardinals. For me, that's beating somebody. They might not be run away with it type teams. They might not be the Dodgers. They might not be the Yankees, right? They might not be that. But you know what they are? They're teams that are certainly finding their way. And the Brewers found their way into first place in the Central Division, and the Phillies just swept them out of Philadelphia. And as I'm enjoying the moment of the Phillies going out there and winning the game, completing the sweep, taking all 3 games in this Rhys Hoskins return, which, by the way, Philadelphia, you looked great. But as I'm enjoying all of that, I hear John Kruk right at the end of the broadcast say something along the lines. He just said a radio. He said he heard on the radio. He was listening to a radio show. And on that radio show, somebody said they're barely beating teams. They're barely beating teams. This was the second time I heard this. I was on Fox 29 last week, and Alex Holly said the same thing. She asked the same question. She goes, do you have the feeling of the Eagles? That kind of thing, where the Eagles were barely beating teams. I keep on going back to this because I've heard this before about the comparison to the Eagles and saying that the Phillies are just barely beating teams. The Phillies are not just finding ways to win. For the most part this season, up until recently, they had been winning pretty comfortably. They had this series against the Rockies where they struggled. They had the series against San Francisco. They struggled a little bit. And then they come home, back to that home cooking, and they get right back to winning. Were they dominant wins? No. But for the vast majority of the season, you have seen this team now mount up to the second best run differential in all of baseball. The best run differential in the National League. That's not scraping by. That's pretty damn good. And when you have an offense like this, for instance, yesterday is the perfect example, and even the day before is a great example where Alec Boehm, you were getting anything going offensively, and Alec Boehm's like, all right, I got this. 8th inning home run. We're tied up at 1. Let's go to extras. And then Nick Castellanos walks it off. You know at some point somebody in this stacked lineup is going to come up with a big hit. And with this pitching staff, which now in Major League Baseball, they have 4 guys that are in the top 15, I believe it is now. In the National League, they have 4 guys that are in the top 7 in ERA, with Aaron Nola now having a 2.77 ERA. His ERA is the lowest it's been. It's been under 3. It's now under 3 for the first time since before he threw the first pitch of the season, his first pitch of the season, because he got shelled against the Braves, unfortunately. But ever since that, his ERA, I think it was like 12.47 or something like that. And then he's just gradually working it down, went back up a little bit, worked it down. And now finally, went into the game yesterday at 3.03, now it's down to 2.77. When you have this pitching and this offense, you feel like you're going to get at least six innings of quality baseball, even better than quality. Quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs. These guys are a little better than quality. 6 innings, 2 runs. 7 innings, no runs. 8 innings, flirt with a no-hitter, that kind of thing. That's what this Phillies rotation has done. You combine that with this lineup, that's pretty good. You feel like you're pretty set. So I feel like this Phillies team has been dominant. And you're talking about a team as well that's the best record in baseball, best record in the National League for like 2 months. I'll take that. I'll take that every time. And I continue to just enjoy watching this team play, because it just seems to be always something exemplary about this team that leads them to a win. Whether it's the unexpected of a guy like Garrett Stubbs or David Dahl or Cody Clemens or Edmundo Sosa, which is now somebody we expect a lot from. It's always something exceptional that happens to help this team win. And over the last 2 games, although it's been great to see Nick Castellanos come up with back-to-back days where he got the game-winning hit, one a walk-off, one coming in the 5th inning of yesterday's game. as great as it is to watch that instant production, it's been fantastic to watch this team play defense over the last really 3 games. You're talking about JT Realmuto and Johan Rojas connecting for a play at the plate to get Rhys Hoskins out. You're talking about getting done 2 nights ago in extras with Bryson Stott fielding that baseball, going to JT Realmuto, and JT getting that collision at home plate. And then Alec Boehm yesterday making a fantastic pick with a runner on third and being able to deliver that ball to Garrett Stubbs, all like 4'8" Garrett Stubbs, who has to reach way high and outside to corral that baseball and then reach all the way across his body while placing his foot in the perfect position to ensure Contreras didn't touch home, and he comes down and makes the tag. That was a great pick by Boehm, a terrible throw, and a great athletic tag by Garrett Stubbs. Plays like that. Christian Pache making a great play in center field yesterday for you. And Mundo Sosa drifting to his right to make a big play in that 7th inning as well to get out of that. I mean, Bryson Stott made great plays for you yesterday. Just continuously, something happens that guides this team to a win. Mostly pitching yesterday. Defense for me is the second. If this was hockey, you do the 3 stars of the game. Definitely pitching. Definitely talking about Aaron Nola. 7 innings, scoreless, 2 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 93 pitches. Aaron Nola, number 1. And number 2 would, without question, be the way this team played defense yesterday and really throughout this entire series. And then number 3, Nick Castellanos. And I've made a big deal of this, and I feel like people you can't make enough of this. It's subtle, but baseball players in particular, I mean, every athlete, but I feel like baseball in particular, because if you're in the wrong mindset, you don't have like a full week to recover. You don't have a couple days to recover. You could be in that wrong mindset and be stuck in that for 5 games, you know? So a little tweak of something can set your mind, it can get your mind right. And Nick Castellanos getting bumped up to hit cleanup on the day Alec Boehm got the day off in San Francisco. He got a little hit that day. He got an adorable little hit. Okay, good for you, Nick Castellanos. And then ever since then, Nick Castellanos is hitting 348. Now it's been an 8-game stretch. Going into yesterday, he was hitting 348, and he got another home run yesterday. I believe Rob Thompson might have cracked the code. And then with JT Realmuto coming into the CBP yesterday, tells Rob Thompson, Rob Thompson's like, I got the lineup card here. JT, have you starting? And JT's like, skip. I don't feel so good today. And I'm like, if you're Rob Thompson, like, don't you go up to JT and be like, how you feeling? And JT's like, well, let's see. I don't really ever take a day off there, Skipper. But I got hit in the tricep yesterday. I got banged in the side of my head there, the play at the plate. Oh yeah, and I took a foul ball off my hibbity-dibbity. I might need a day off. Can I have a day off? I know I got like 2 days off coming up. Everyone does. But if I can just get one more day to sit in the cold tub, I'd really like that. Could you do that for me, Skip? All right, I'll put Garrett Stubbs in. By the way, one thing on a side note, along the lines of catcher, Rafael, I always mess up his name. Marchand. He is being put on the list. They're expanding the roster a little bit, and they get to put 3 guys on, and Marchand's one of them. So just interesting. It's interesting. So yeah, JT's not in the lineup yesterday, but he's been really good for this Phillies team. And without him in the lineup yesterday, Nick Castellanos is batting second. It was a good day. It was a good day yesterday. Phillies get the win, 44th win of the season, and now they head over to jolly old England. I got a story for you. If you're going over there, I've heard there was some issues with getting over there with some people. Not a worldwide issue, but I was at Fox 29 last night. We didn't get to do the show. We didn't get to do the Fantastic Sports Show last night because of the tornado. in Newcastle County, the warnings and all that stuff, and hope everybody's okay. But we didn't get to do the show. I'm just saying that as the reason why we didn't get to do the show, because they had a lot of, and rightfully so, had weather coverage to do. But we got to talking, and I was being told about some issues with getting over to London. So hopefully those people eventually do get over to London and do get to see the Phillies play some baseball. But I'll tell you the exact moment when I was over there where I realized I wasn't in New York City. Like the vibe I thought was, it's just another big city. I could have gone to New York and all that stuff. Which I legitimately hate when people say that about European cities, because I'm like, you're in a place that's 2,000 years older. Like this stuff. Okay, New York's great, fine, But if you're a history nerd at all, like you're walking around places like, oh, there's a Roman wall from the year 1. Oh, there's a statue of Julius Caesar that was put there by Julius Caesar. Okay, that's an exaggeration. But you know what I mean? Very interesting stuff. But I'll tell you one story about London that made me go, oh, wow, this is why it's different. So we'll get to that in a second. But first, let's start it off with your Philadelphia Eagles. A couple of things. When you just talk about the tangible stuff on the football field yesterday, a couple of things that went on. James Bradbury. So James Bradbury, we talked a lot about yesterday about how he's going to get a look at the safety position. That hasn't happened yet. That is in the plans. Bradbury came up with an injury yesterday. So was on 2 days ago, excuse me. So only did some light participation, but never at the safety position. He had to kind of sit out the rest of it, and he sat out again yesterday. So there you go. That's the way that went down yesterday. So he officially hasn't been at the safety position. Avonte Maddox has officially been at the safety position, but mostly has been their number 1 slot corner, which is no different than what we already know about how the Eagles have used him in the past. They've used him at safety, but for the most part, he has been that slot corner, which is what he is. But yeah, that's just one thing that's been going on in practice. Cooper DeJean had a near pick. If he would have changed his name to Cooper DeJohn, he would have picked it off, but whatever. He jumped a route, according to Ruben Frank's story, he jumped a route of on Jalen Hurts and let the ball just bounce off his chest, but it should have been a pick. It looked like Darius Slay had given him a heads up on what was what, and he kind of looked, or should be Chauncey Gardner-Johnson gave him a heads up on like something that could be coming, and it looked like they acknowledged each other, like, hey, thanks for the tip, But good to see Cooper DeJean being aggressive. Devin White, still your middle linebacker. Kobe Dean is somewhere. And yeah, they kept on rotating guys in at that corner spot opposite Darius Slay, whether that be Quinyon Mitchell, whether that be Keely Ringo, Cooper DeJean, just kept on rotating in that regard. And that's the way that was shaking out yesterday for the Eagles. Now, I love this. Like, I love it when guys have confidence. I know sometimes people want that new guy to be like humble and be like, hey, acknowledge that you haven't done anything at that level. But like, if your personality is to talk a little trash, then you go out there and you talk that trash, man. You talk that trash. So without further ado, A.J. Brown yesterday is talking about, he was asked a question about anybody that stood out to him so far at training camp, or so far at OTAs and minicamp. Because remember, that awful teammate, A.J. Brown, was in the building for rookie camp. He was in the building for OTAs. When asked about why he was in the building yesterday for OTAs and rookie camp, he says, man, I just love football. I just want to get back to it. Man, what a diva. How dare he keep on being such a great teammate? What a jerk. Anyway, A.J. Brown yesterday was asked about anybody standing out to him. He did talk about Keely Ringo. He says Keely Ringo seems like he's got a step better than he did a year ago. Okay, that's great. Hey, as long as the person who's starting opposite Darius Slay is good, that's all I care about. I have no real rooting interest. My prediction is still going to be Quinyon Mitchell. But as long as that person's good, he's the best player doing it, the best player that they have is doing it, then I'm happy with it. If that's Keely Ringo, all right, cool. But he did mention that Keely Ringo's gotten a step better, and then he said that Quinyon Mitchell has stood out to him a little bit. He hasn't gone up against him much, but when he has, it's been memorable. Here is A.J. Brown talking about the Eagles' 22nd overall pick, Quinyon Mitchell, in the secondary and what he said to him yesterday.
Not every loss is a loss, you know.
Quinyon and
Wrong button. Here it is.
Quinyon and kind
Yeah.
of your thoughts on
Q doesn't talk as much, guys. I don't think y'all know that. He doesn't really say anything. And the first words I heard from him was like, "Hey, that route was trash." I said, "What?" I said, "You don't even talk and you talking trash." And so it was funny. It was funny to hear from him, you know. And I told him, I said, "All right, I like to see that. You know, I want to see you step up because he's not going to be playing against me. He's going to be playing against other guys, and you know, I want to see him, you know, hold his own." You know, and I told him, I said, "All right, you took the first step, but I said, now you got to back it up. You got to walk. You have to walk that walk." And I've been looking forward to getting some reps against him. You know, so.
Is that not great? Is that not exactly what you want from a rookie? Hey, man, if you're going to be that good, and AJ, I think, took this the exact right way. Now, if he was a diva, if he was a jerk, if he was anything that people try to paint him to be, he's taking exceptions like, shut your mouth, rookie. Who are you again? Is it Quinton Mitchell? What is your name? You know? No, he goes, all right. Instead, he takes, not even the high road. I think the right road. Like, all right, man. You want to be about that? You better be about that. You better talk that talk and walk the walk. You can't just do half of that. Otherwise, it's a quick career, son. I love that exchange. Absolutely love that exchange. I love that attitude from Quinyon Mitchell. I'm going to say something. I'll say whatever I want. And guys have been impressed. Guys have talked about it. Devontae Smith talked about it yesterday, or 2 days ago with Quinyon Mitchell, and just how he looks like the real deal and all that stuff. And I've talked many times about Quinyon Mitchell when he first addressed the media, talking about how everything he's doing here in Philly so far and stuff that he did at Toledo, and you know they'll continue to install. And Vic Fangio even said when he addressed the media weeks ago that he's going to throw a lot at these guys so that by the middle of the season this is all second nature, third nature, as a matter of fact. So I love all that. I'm here for all of that. I support all of that. I love the idea of a rookie going up to a veteran and a Pro Bowl veteran, and a guy that just signed a ginormous deal. That route was trash. Oh, you're going to fit right in. You're going to fit right in here in Philly there, Quinyon Mitchell. Or Q. It's difficult when you know someone by one nickname to use that nickname for somebody else. And I know it's not a great nickname. I mean, it's literally the first letter of their name, but like Quinton Michael. I mean, friend of the show, Inside the Birds, all that stuff. Q&A with Jason Avant, all that stuff. He's Q. He's Q to me. Yeah. Anyway, like that. Now, this is the other thing that AJ Brown got into yesterday. I've said that when the Eagles made the signing of Saquon Barkley, I officially turned the page to the next chapter. I put last year's awful end to the season behind me. However, I don't have to play for the Eagles, spoiler. So if you're going to use this as motivation, I think more power to you. And I think a lot of athletes should have a very similar mindset. I know some people might be of the mindset of, oh, you got to forget about it, put it in the past, you can't think about it and all that stuff. But if things are going right for you this year, I want that, devil on the shoulder type of thing. Like, remember last year? Remember what happened? You were 10-1, and then you sucked at football. Like, you know what I mean? I think it serves as good motivation. And that's the other thing that AJ Brown got into yesterday when he was asked about how he moves on from last year.
Not every loss is a loss. I don't even like to say a loss is a loss. It's always a lesson, always something to learn from. And I feel like you better learn something from it, or it's going to return. And I'm always going to have that mentality to put in the work, grind and, put my best foot forward, and attack each and every day moving forward. Like, I can't worry about the past. I can't worry about yesterday. And, I'm here right now. And that's all I have today. Like, today practice, that's all I'm granted with. And that's what I got to do and give it my all today.
What a jerk, right, you guys? What a diva. I don't know about you, but speaking for myself, if the Eagles do get out to a great start, last year will still be in the back of my mind. Now, if they're dominant and they're blowing teams away and they're they're winning games by 2 touchdowns and you're not sweating out the fourth quarter consistently and defense looks to be on point and well disciplined and the offense is clicking on all cylinders and Kellen Moore's a genius and all that jazz, right? If that's the case, then maybe I'll feel a little bit different in the early goings of this season. But it's one of those things that's going to be haunting my brain. I'm willing to turn the page. I have turned the page. But if I get little notes, if I have my wine glass and I'm getting notes of the same crap as last year, well, then I'll have a worry. I'll have an issue. If Jalen Hurts is not accurate, if Jalen Hurts isn't reading the defense, if Jalen Hurts is turning the football over, it doesn't matter if you have Saquon Barkley because he's not getting the ball in his hands. You know who's getting the ball in his hands? In their hands? The defense that you're playing. And that's the one thing that I really do have a concern about this season. I know the injury bug is always number one, but that's for everybody. But when it comes to this Eagles team, turnovers. You can't have the amount of turnovers that you had as last year. You can't do that. But this offense, that's taking opportunities away from A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley. That's taking away those opportunities. You can't do that. It's the one thing I'm really worried about. The other thing is, man, I hate to call it the quicksand, but it was the quicksand last year. A.J. Brown, keeping that on the shelf, just so he walks by every once in a while and just remember. You know? There's a story. I'm going to show my true nerddom, but A.J. Brown made me think of this. You guys have seen the movie 300, okay? Before that movie, I forget however many thousands of years, or not thousands, but hundreds of years before that movie, there was a battle in Marathon, the Battle of Marathon in ancient Greece, right? And before that, Persia was really pissed off at the ancient Greek people, right? They didn't like them, right? And they got spurred pretty bad by him. And one of the Persian kings, okay, came up. You know, you're getting a history lesson today. One of the Persian kings told one of his servants to come up to him during dinner, all right, every night, and say, and this was against and specifically ancient Greece, this was against the Athens, all right. And he said, whisper, I want you to whisper in my ear throughout dinner, like every course I have, say, sire, remember the Athenians, okay? So you never forget it. A.J. Brown has that. Okay, I know it's a stretch, but just stay with me, all right? A.J. Brown has that kind of vibe going on right now about the way last year ended. Like he's like, all right, everything's good here. I'm eating. Everything looks great. But I never want to forget what happened last year. Because I could be 10-1 again. This team could be 10-1. This team could be 10-1 for a second consecutive year, or third consecutive year. Remember the collapse of 2023. Just think about that. That's how A.J. Brown is approaching this. And I love it. Does it sound haunting? Does it sound daunting? A little bit. I don't think it's at the point where you're thinking about it too much, to the point where it's going to mess you up for the upcoming season. But it's something that he's using as motivation, where every once in a while he's going to walk by that shelf and he's going to see 10-1. He's going to see 10-3. He's going to see a first-round playoff exit. He's going to see going from a first round, or excuse me, from a number one seed first round bye to squeaking into the playoffs. That's the way. Losing the division as well and squeaking into the playoffs. That's what he's thinking of. I'm here for it. Love it. The other thing, and this is, I think, a little bit more newsworthy in terms of strategery when it comes to this Eagles team. I think what jumped out to me is going to jump out to you about this Devin White. Now, Devin White's the starting middle. Right now, Devin White's the starting middle linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. Devin White yesterday was asked about his role with this team and how it compares to his time in Tampa.
That's been asked to do this role.
I don't know. I think it's the same thing. As far as calling the plays, when we go dime, being a lonesome linebacker out there and making checks and stuff still. Playing a lot of the same coverage, similar coverages, kind of just doing a lot of the similar things. He's putting in more packages now as far as blitzing linebackers, blitzing this person. So at the end of the day, I think football is just football. You just got to learn new words. I think at the end of the day, cover 3 is cover 3, cover 9 is cover 9. But Vic might call it one thing that I'm not used to hearing, but I got to learn his way.
Was that Did you guys hear the word used there? Did you guys hear him say it? The words, actually. Putting in blitzing. Huh. I thought Vic Fangio doesn't blitz. I mean, even a guy who doesn't blitz a lot blitzes sometimes, right? It's not like he goes whole games without blitzing. So you're going to have some blitz packaging, right? Just found it very interesting. It raised my eyebrows. I'm like, oh, blitz packaging. Oh, we're working on that. All right, let's keep that going. And it just kind of raised my eyebrows. And it honestly would be insignificant, and I wouldn't play it for you. I wouldn't highlight it. I wouldn't talk about it unless I heard a little bit more about it. So Jeff McClain, and I included the question, you'll hear it, but it again is about the same role that Devin White had in Tampa, where he blitzed the hell out of quarterbacks. And is he going to do that here with Vic Fangio? Here's the question and answer.
In this defense, there are as many opportunities to rush the passer that you had with the Bucks.
I feel like Coach Vic is a player. If you're good at something, he gonna make sure he exploit it. So if I'm good at rushing the passing and I show him I can win, I feel like he'll put a lot of things in to get it going. But man, in camp, I kind of been trying to show him that, but it's only 7-on-7, so it's not a whole lot I can do. And I think my mindset is for training camp is to come back and be dominant. And anytime I get a pass rush situation, just so he can implement that. Because at the end of the day, I'm still trying to solidify myself. Nothing is being given to nobody out there right now. I feel like we all trying to earn it. We've been doing a lot of mix and matches to see who good at where. And I feel like I'm just trying to show it everything I can do because I just want to be on the field.
Yeah, great attitude. He wants to be on the field. But he feels like, I mean, it always drives me crazy when a coach says, no, this is the scheme. This is what we do. Oh, you're really good at that. Forget about it. We're not using it. I love that Devin White's at least getting that impression right now of Vic Fangio. That if you're good at something and you can show you win your one-on-one battles, then I'm going to use it. I mean, I certainly hope that's what Vic Fangio would do, and Devin White seems to really hope that's what Vic Fangio wants to do. Oh, I got Devin White now. Maybe I could use this a little bit. That kind of thing. For the record, I still think he's just going to go with your defensive line, your edge rushers. I don't think we're going to see a lot of blitzing. But you'll see, hopefully, notes of blitzing from Devin White and the rest of the Seagulls defense. Devin White, I'll say this. Devin White, to me, seems encouraged. That's the word I'll use. Devin White seems encouraged that Vic Fangio will use him and his skill set appropriately. That's why, again, Devin White obviously wants to do it. If he didn't want to do it, he wouldn't try to put it on display for his new defensive coordinator. The term, I don't think the term old school got used yesterday when it came to Vic Fangio. So that's good. That's going to get used a lot. I was listening for it yesterday. I didn't hear it. But it's going to get used a lot with Vic Fangio, and I hate that. And one of my favorite quotes ever from any manager or coach in Philadelphia sports history is Charlie Manuel. Because he would always get asked about, like, Chase Utley's old. And Charlie, I loved it. And it's just one of those things, it's like, oh, yeah, of course. But it's just the way Charlie put it was great. It was very philosophical. And Charlie, in Charlie fashion, just went, that's not old school. That's good school. And it's one of those things that just lives. Like, that's not old school. Like, people that worked hard did not only exist, in my grandfather's era. Granted, they worked their asses off. Not kidding. But, like, the old school is good school. There are people that work like the old school in today's school. And that's something that Charlie Manuel was referring to. So Vic Fangio being a quote-unquote old school guy, is he old school or is he good school? Because you should work your ass off. Even if you're good, even if you're great, you can still get better. One of the things A.J. Brown said yesterday was, after every season, I asked myself, okay, what can I do to work harder? Can I work harder? And he goes, the answer, because I'm a competitor, is always yes. That's a beautiful thing. That's what makes you a professional athlete. That's what makes you a Pro Bowl athlete. That motivation, that desire, that drive. That ability to look in the mirror and go, all right, even though I worked my ass off this year, let's push it a little further. Love hearing that. Love seeing that. So when it comes to Vic Fangio, pushing his defense or being an old school guy, an OBS guy, yeah, old school, good school, I'll say it's good school. But because he's 65, he'll be Oh, he's out of touch with young athletes. A lot of athletes just want to be pushed. Maybe he's a perfect fit for this defense in Philadelphia. Of course, the other side of it, to be a negative Nancy for a second when it comes to Devin White, is what if he does put it on display? What if he does show that he can still get after the quarterback? And Vic Fangio's like, that's adorable. All right, so here's what we're going to do. All 11 of you drop back 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. We're going to a super prevent defense. You know, I don't think that's happening, but just the other side of it. I put it on display. You didn't use it. Okay. See how that goes. A couple other things from yesterday worth mentioning. I mentioned the Freedom, Keely Ringo growing. Quinyon Mitchell, we played for you. Brandon Graham says things are simplified under Vic Fangio. Of the defensive rookies, Quinyon Mitchell, Q, jumps out to him. He likes the scheme so far. During his last season in the NFL, he definitely said he's smelling the roses. He's really trying to appreciate everything that's around him. He was asked about, this is funny, he was asked about Fletcher Cox not being around. He's like, I literally just got off the phone with Fletcher Cox, so it's not much. There's not much change there. Talked about Davis and Carter pushing each other on the interior of the defensive line. They're feeding off each other. Last year, a big part of the dismay was they weren't on the same page. And he said now the communication just feels like it's so much better and everyone's on the same page. Referred to Howie Roseman as a wizard during his press conference yesterday. Guys are different this year already, so they're got the chip off their shoulder, a lot of them from last year. Jordan Mailata had a great line. As every offensive lineman is going to get asked, he got asked, life after Jason Kelce. And Jordan Mailata said, I think so far, and let's all understand that we're at minicamp, but still worth noting. He said, we think we're doing a great job of maintaining the standard that Jason Kelce helped establish. And I thought, well, there you go. That's a wonderful way to put that. Keely Ringo was asked about another great answer. Hey, they took 2 corners with their first 2 picks in the draft this year, the Eagles, Keely. What do you think about that? Great opportunity to compete and get better. That was the quote from Keely Ringo. Love that. And then you heard from Devin White right there about all that great stuff. I also like that Devin White, when he was asked about Philadelphia and what he likes, how involved in the community this team is. He referenced the playground build that the Eagles do every year under Jeffrey Lurie, and he said that that's just great, being out in the community, seeing the community, helping. I love that that's something that stuck out to him. That's a great thing. That's what stuck out to me yesterday. Between the practice field, the rotating corners at number 1, Quinyon Mitchell being one of them, Cooper DeJean's near pick of Jalen Hurts. And that's what stuck out to me about a view into the mindset of this Philadelphia Eagles team while they addressed the media yesterday. Let's talk some baseball, ladies and gentlemen, as the Philadelphia Phillies are off. Well, I shouldn't say off. Philadelphia Phillies are not playing today, Thursday. Philadelphia Eagles are not playing tomorrow, Friday. But the Philadelphia Phillies are playing on Saturday at 1:10. And then they're playing Sunday morning at 10 o'clock in jolly old London. Yesterday's game. First off, on Rhys Hoskins. The only thing that surprised me was 3 straight days of standing ovations for Rhys Hoskins. I knew he was going to get a standing ovation in his return. The 3 days thing, I was like, damn, all right, good. And it has been a wonderful story nationally. It's been recognized on national outlets, I think Fox Sports, ESPN, recognized the fact that Philadelphia Phillies fans are awesome. And they gave one of their former, Rhys Hoskins, a standing ovation 3 straight days. And each time, the home plate umpire, to their credit, gave them the 30 seconds, gave him time to step out, acknowledge the crowd. It was beautiful. It was great. And then the Phillies won every game. But yesterday's game in particular, I want to get into some specifics here, especially when it comes to Aaron Nola, Nick Castellanos, the defense behind him, all that type jazz. Aaron Nola went into that 7th inning yesterday And this might be why he didn't get an opportunity like Zach Wheeler to go over 100 pitches. But Nola went up there yesterday, and Nola went 71 pitches before the 7th inning started. So he goes into the 7th inning at 71 pitches. He gives up the double down the line to Contreras. So he's got a runner in scoring position, just the second hit of the ball game that he allowed. Runner in scoring position, nobody out. Yelich, he takes to a full count, gets him on the 8th pitch of the at-bat to ground out to Bryson Stott. Contreras goes to third. Adames then steps up to the plate. You're thinking, oh my goodness gracious, it's a 2-0 ball game. They could cut the lead in half here with just a ground ball hitting the right spot, scoring Contreras from third base. But what ends up happening is the defensive play of the game. Adames grounds out, or hits a grounder, I should say, to Alec Bohm at third base. Bohm stays with it, makes a great pick, falls down a little bit, gets to his feet, fires home. Garrett Stubbs reaches well outside, well out, gets that baseball with his left foot, somehow magically, perfectly, kicks Contreras' hands away from home plate. Contreras is safe if it wasn't for the left foot of Garrett Stubbs. Then he comes out, makes the sweeping tag. He's out. The Brewers don't even review it. So the lead remains 2-0. At that point, it's 2 outs in the inning. Rhys Hoskins steps up in the top of that 7th inning, and the 22nd pitch of the inning, Aaron Nola gets Rhys Hoskins to ground out to shortstop. So he gets out of a little bit of a jam there. And that was the only time he really faced any problems in this game. 2 hits is what he allowed in the game. 0 walks, 93 pitches, 5 strikeouts for Aaron Nola, who tossed 7 scoreless innings, lowering his ERA on the season to 2.77. Love everything about that. The knuckle curve yesterday was working great. The only exception was that Contreras double, where he just looked like he was waiting on it. And that had been and is Aaron Nola's put-away pitch. It's become his most used pitch throughout this season. Used more in particularly as his put-away pitch. There was one at-bat in this game yesterday where he threw 3 straight knuckle curves. It was to Sanchez in the 6th inning, a 1-2-3 6th inning. He gets Sanchez on 3 straight knuckle curves. Then he gets Perkins to line out to right field and Terang to ground out to Bryson Stott. He just had it working for him yesterday. He looked like a man on a mission throughout this game. And constantly, the only inning he really had an issue with was that 7th inning. Other than that, his pitch count during the entire game yesterday was phenomenal. Looking at it now, Aaron Nola, 10 pitches in the 1st inning, 16 in the 2nd, then 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th inning, 11, 11, 11, 12 pitches in these innings. 22 it ended up being in the 7th inning. That was the only time he had an issue. Other than that, he was money. Phillies didn't get a lot going offensively, unfortunately. Still waiting for that Kyle Schwarber June to start up where he starts belting baseballs, He had another single yesterday. That was good, but would still love to see the power. He roped a foul ball in the 5th inning, I want to say. No, it was later than that. It was the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th inning. 3-2 fastball that he just belted. Second deck foul. Wish he'd straightened it out a little bit. Worked a full count and then ended up grounding out to short. But all in all, it's still getting hits for you. As the game went on, you saw this team not really get a lot of offense going until, how about this? Ashby yesterday really struggled against Garrett Stubbs. At one point, he walked him on 9 pitches. 2 walks, 9 pitches. A 5-pitch walk and a 4-pitch walk to Garrett Stubbs. He didn't want that Stubbs smoke. He didn't want Garrett Stubbs laying down a bunt. You know what I mean? Beating it out like Stubby does. But yeah, in that 5th inning, they got it going with back-to-back walks. Stubbs, then Pache. You're thinking, oh boy, here we go. We're going to get something going. Then Kyle Schwarber grounded into the 6-4-3 double play. Not ideal, but now you got a runner on third. Castellanos steps up there with Garrett Stubbs on third base, and he wallops a baseball a changeup, 90 miles per hour over the middle of the plate, wallops 402 feet for his 8th home run of the season, a 2-run home run, and giving the Phillies a 2-0 lead. As I mentioned before, Nick Castellanos, since your boy, Rob Thompson, made him the cleanup hitter for one game, offered him a promotion one time in San Francisco. Since then, Nick Castellanos has been a much different player at the plate. Rob Thompson talked about how he's really been putting it together for the last month. But in terms of consistency, this is the most consistency that we have seen from Nick Castellanos so far this season. There's been little blips on the radar, but now you're talking about over a week where Nick Castellanos has been getting it done for the Phillies. He leads the team in at-bats. He's now hitting .214 on the season, which does suck. Let's acknowledge that for a second. That's terrible. But now over his last, going into yesterday, his last 7 games, he was hitting .348 on the season. Over the last 7 games. So you love to see that. In May, he had 5 home runs. He's his first in June yesterday. You just love seeing him put all that together. It's pretty spectacular. Just a little bit of confidence boost from your manager, and good things are happening for him. So I am here for that. Phillies will do, I'm sure, some glad handing over there in London. Before I get to the chat check, if you guys have ever been in London, I'd love to hear it. But here's the vibe that I got in London about. So I told you it before. Going into London, I was walking around the first day, and I went, this is New York. I could have just gone to New York. And I'm walking around, and then by the middle of the second day, I had a day to myself. And I just was walking around the city, and I went to this pub just to grab some lunch. And there were like businessmen there. This is a Tuesday afternoon. And there's some businessmen there at the pub, and they're drinking beer. They were there before I got there, and just before I left, they left. And I was there like maybe an hour, had lunch. And these guys in the hour, I don't know how many beers they had before I got there, but they had like 5 beers while I was there. Okay. Their conversation, I was kind of, I'm a tourist, eavesdropping a little bit, just trying to hear the scuttlebutt of the city, right? And I'm listening, and these guys, I could tell they were like exchanging ideas about something. And then it ended with, this is good. We should get back to the office and really hash this out. And I'm like, get back to the office? You guys have had at least 6 beers. Like, that doesn't happen in the States. And if it does, maybe there's red lights, man. But these guys were just crushing beers like it was like Center City sips to them. And they're like, all right, let's get back to the office and really work this out. They're like, who the hell? And then it was like that little experience changed my whole perspective on the city. And I was like, that's why I'm not in New York. All right. Because of that vibe of like guys just like, yeah, just have some drinks, go back to work. No big deal. Like, all right, this place is that chill. Cool. And then I ended up doing like an Anthony Bourdain tour, like literally one of his shows, No Reservations, I think it was. It was either No Reservations or Layover. I just ended up following Anthony Bourdain's footsteps around London and just eating, drinking, eating some more, drinking some more, and walking a lot. But yeah, great vibe, man. Great city. It really is. Fantastic city. I did the Jack the Ripper tour. That was creepy. But a real life beef eater, the guys that live in like London Tower or whatever that is, the Tower of London, I'm cultured. They gave the tour. It's pretty wild. It's a good time. So if you're going to London, have yourself a good time. And if you want to bet on the Phillies, use MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus. And MyBookie, mybookie.ag. NBA Finals get started tonight. MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Last I checked, Celtics are 6.5-point favorites in Game 1. All the action on MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus. And MyBookie, mybookie.ag. How about the Game Time app? Download the Game Time app. You want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone. Create an account and use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. They also have the Game Time guarantee. You know what that is? That means if you find tickets in the same section, same row for less money elsewhere, Game Time will refund your account 110% of the difference. That right there is the Game Time guarantee for the guaranteed lowest price. They also have last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after events start for mega huge Kajunga savings. They have seat previews, so you can see your seat before you buy it, so you know exactly what you're getting. That's the Game Time guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI for $20 off your first purchase. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. And how about Sky Motorcars? SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing on this fine Thursday morning. Hopefully safe if anybody's watching in Newcastle. Is that dealer time times 2? It was 20 minutes today. Dealer times 2 is 30 minutes. At least 25. You know what I'm saying? But thank you, T-Bro. Nice to see you. IBH, good morning. Spencer! What's going on, Spencer? What's up? Mark the man. The man that I know will always be the voice of Lehigh Valley. That's funny. Appreciate you, Spencer. NJ Fishing. Top of the morning, Farzy. Top of the morning to you. You know, this Italian gesture has really become popular. For the people on the podcast, NJ Fishing did the Italian gesture of like what Tommy DeVito was doing. Okay, I hate to break it down to that, but this is very popular. You know what's one that doesn't get used enough? It's not nearly as popular, but it's this. And it's like somebody asks you about your grandmother's meatballs. You're like, oh, and you wave your hand around in that circle. You don't do the, that thing. You do the, oh, like that. It's like wafting the memory back to your brain or surround, like encompass. Like that's just one, just for people. There's no emoji for it, but I'm just letting you know. It's just one that doesn't get used enough. But NJ, nice to see you. IBH, that AJ/Q exchange was hilarious. It really was. I loved it. K. Crowley, what's going on? Good morning. Tampa Eagle, what's up from Tampa? Hello, Tampa. Spencer, oh, by the way, I'm the guy who has Bryce Harper and Joel Embiid on my Cavs. I remember you, Spencer. That's great. That's fantastic. Sean Gillespie, what's going on? 2 different types of sports. Baseball season is a marathon. Hopefully the Phillies don't mimic the Braves in the recent postseason. I concur. That thought is definitely in my head. Underdog Entertainment, what's going on? I heard Hertz was out there looking like Joe Montana again. With the Pinocchio emoji, essentially, of the big nose. It's been the opposite. It has not been good. Back to Spencer. This team is Tang of all juices for sure, a.k.a. the greatest drink on the market. We did not wake up and say, we're going to have a Tang reference today on the show, but I love that, Spencer. Great. Hi, what's going on, man? Top of the top Farzy, Phils, and Eagles talk. Top of the top, baby. It's like the top of the top. John Cheeseborough. Farzy and Society. Good morning. Good morning, John. Nice to see you. Raphael Marchand. Thank you. Sean Gillespie, I'm glad you enjoyed that. The hibbity-dibbity shot. Yeah, it was right at the old hibbity-dibbity. My wife literally asked me, does he have children? He's got 2 daughters. Sean Gillespie, cheese. Holding the Brewers to 2 runs the entire series is damn impressive. I need them to go across the pond and smash the Mets, as do I. Mets have won 5 of 7. They put up 9 runs on the the Nationals yesterday. 9-1. Holy Stromboli. Lindor his 10th home run yesterday. Yeah. It's a nice day at the ballpark. Bader. 3 RBAs. It's a good day. I don't know why I went Chicago there. Sean and John saying hi to each other. Spencer, the issues has to be due to Chase Utley learning about Rob and Bryce's friendship. Oh my God, Spencer, I haven't even acknowledged that yet. How great was that? If you've seen it, you've seen it. If you know, you know. But basically, they took the "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" letter from Mac to Chase, and it's now Mac to Bryce. And Chase Utley's like, or Bryce Harper shows Chase Utley the letters. Like, you familiar with this? And then he calls Mac. He's like, "What the hell, man? It's just a fling." Yeah. Bleep the Mets. Da, 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 bleep the Mets. Step right up and muck the Fets. All right. This year one. Yes. Actually, Sean Gillespie, one of the other really cool things I saw in London, I was walking to the Tower of London, and I was walking down that Thames River, the River Thames. Right, and I'm walking down the river, and there's this beautiful, what do you call it? Not fresco, mosaic, and it covered a block, like it was really long, it was huge. And I'm walking down, and it just had the history of London, and it was like in, I don't even know the year. I'm gonna ballpark it and say like 50 BC. Julius Caesar arrives. It's like stuff like that. And then it was like the Viking invasions and all that stuff. It was so cool. And I'm just like walking the block, just staring at this long mosaic. It's pretty wild. Mosaics can be on the floor and the wall, right? Like frescoes are painted. Mosaics are, I think I'm saying that, right? The little tiles. Yeah. John Cheesebro, the thing with Bradbury is to try to get something for him at roster cuts, probably hoping that Rat Gannon wants a veteran. Who knows the system? It's possible. Move him out there to Arizona. John Cheesebro, Q talking trash to AJ. I love it. I want to see those training camp battles between him and AJ, as do I. Yeah, John, Clint Hurt is a huge dude. Huge dude. Big compliment from AJ. Sean Gillespie, hopefully Chiriani remembers last year and has answers this year written down. I hope he does too. James Alexander the third. What's going on? Good morning. Just competition. Yep. Oh, Carlos too. What's going on? Everyone's saying hello. Stan Bruce, good morning, Farzy. Screw the National Media for giving us our props. As soon as something bad happens, they bring up drunk Santa. Santa has since passed. But he always said he wasn't drunk. Not actual Santa Claus, the Santa Claus from the story you're referencing of Philly fans booing Santa. Anyway, Nikki 3 buttons, 2.5 RBIs in 2 days. That's great. Big Rhythm. What's going on? 3 standing O's, 3 different crowds. It's like when your boys back in town and the gang can't all get out to see him on the same night. Hey, Reese, sorry my kids got game on Monday. I'll see you Wednesday. That's great. That is a good, I like that comparison. Jason A. thought the standing ovations for Rhys Hoskins were incredible to watch. Kind of sad. Wish we had root for Hoskins. Like having Rhys Hoskins on, I would love Rhys Hoskins to be a Philly again. Just as they got no spot for him. If Rhys Hoskins is able to come back as that like right-handed bat off the bench at some point, I would love that. Big Rhythm. Farzy, we had a guy where I work who go to his car to take a shot, go to a bar for lunch, had a sketchy coffee thermos and operated at a high level. He was fired after new ownership, but interesting. Yeah, see, he was fired. In London, they were just like, all right, let's get back to the office. Now that we've tied one on a wee bit in the middle of the day on a Tuesday, let's go back to the office. I'll never forget. Let's go back to the office and hash this out. I was a little surprised the word hash got used. Maybe they have a different use. Like hash is like something we would use in America in terms of like, let's hash this out. Boop, bop, boop, bop, bop, bop. Jason A. Sorry. I am still worried about the Eagles, though. The coaching situation is hot. If we start off bad, Sirianni going to get the hook. If we start off bad, Sirianni's going to get the hook. Yes, I agree. Dev, missed your Eagles segment, but I like that Mitchell and DeGene are getting first-team reps. I think the coaching staff will vastly improve this. Yep, I agree. I love Blazing Hash, right? Is that an underdog on an eagle? That's one of the coolest avatars I've ever seen. Johnny J! Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, everyone. Great win. Sweep by the Phillies. Really got to get the game this year. Johnny G, I saw after I logged off yesterday, I saw you had a question about me and Broads. I'll definitely get Broads back on the show at some point. Hunter Brody, great dude. Lego Eagle. Good morning, go Phils. There we go. All right, there we go. Look what we're doing. We're having fun. We're having fun. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful, as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies and Mets get things underway. Saturday, 10:10. Rangers Suarez scheduled to make the start. It looks like that's actually going to happen. So, okay. Ranger Suarez is supposed to get the start. He won't miss the start. That's good to know. So, yeah, they'll get that started over the weekend. As I mentioned earlier, NBA Finals get underway tonight. 8:30 tip-off, if I'm not mistaken, between the Celtics and the Mavericks. I am absolutely every step of the way rooting for the Dallas Mavericks in this series because how do you root for the Boston Celtics and still have a soul? 8 o'clock tip-off. Wait, hold on. What the hell's going on? 8:30 tip-off tonight in Boston. Boston 6.5-point favorites. That's the way that works. Come on, clown. Stanley Cup final is Saturday. Okay. Yeah. Saturday at 8 o'clock. For those that don't know, it's the Oilers and Panthers, by the way. Yeah. Anybody we know on that Panthers team that's like playing good hockey? If only. Do they have a goalie that was here in Philadelphia? Sergei Bobrovsky. Yeah. Good times. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. And, of course, make sure you like and subscribe to the Jacob Media YouTube channel as well. I'm on them all, baby. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. I'm going to miss the Phillies. Now I look forward to seeing what else is going to go on at minicamp. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. My name is Mark Farzetta. Hit like and subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel, Jacob Media YouTube channel, and Locked On Sports Philadelphia, where you have me doing post-game shows for Locked On Phillies postcasts. So you can see that. I'll be on over the weekend. Not from London, but from Sea Isle. I'll be down in Sea Isle doing the shows. Look forward to doing that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you guys later. Bye.